Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you hanging at the edge of your seat?
Oh, there we go.
Feet shuffle. Sausage shuffle. Sausage shuffle. Let's do this. I got the power. How are you, man?
Starting.
Okay.
Are we?
So let's do the intro. But hey, Sri Lanka, it's another edition of the Decibel podcast, and we have the one, the only, the no stranger to Decibel and everywhere else. Hi, man.
How's it going? How are you?
I'm all right. You all right? You look like you saw a ghost and you ran.
Yeah, it's been a few hectic days. Yeah, have so much to get done, and I've been making music. Just prepping for a few sets as well. So it's been a lot of work, and it's still not done. So yeah. But I found time for you, so that's what's.
Arigato gozaimasu. And
that's what matters.
yeah, but thank you so much for making time. It's always good to be talking to you. And man, so this year, even though the first bit has been a little on the slow side, I kind of like how the end of the year is taking off like so wild, starting off with the release of your EP to now like, gig season for you.
Yeah, so the reason that it was a little bit on the low key was I didn't have time last year to make music. Because
naturally, man, your schedule was like
yeah, because we've been to the UK countless times, and then to tour Europe, and then the India tour, and everything in between. I was playing in Sri Lanka as well, so there was a lot of traveling around, so I didn't necessarily have time to make music. And this year I took a stance and said maybe let's stay on the low key, and if we get something worthwhile, let's visit. But that was kind of like the plan from the get-go. I just wanted to stay at home and then work through the music and
just build your discography. Okay,
improve myself as well as a producer, because I had to like rediscover my sound, I would say, because I wanted to try out a few things as well, a few genres, so to speak. So yeah, I just took the time to invest on that. And once that was kind of like out of the way, we had the opportunity to like look into like gigs and stuff, and we got like a nice offer invitation from the guys at UKF. So that's basically why we decided to like get a few dates together and then do this in the winter. That's basically the reason why.
Are you ready for like a very cold ass winter though?
Yeah. I'm bracing for it. Anyway, because we went in March anyway, and last year, and it was quite cold even in March, and I've been told that it's a little bit colder. So since we have experience, since we've been there a few times now, of course we know what to expect. But yeah, the first time was terrible. But now we just got like thermals and like really nice coats and stuff. So yeah, it's quite okay.
Q for winter clothes sponsorship.
Yeah.
It's about time.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Come at me, yeah.
So Machan, it's been a journey. I think from like the start of this decade till now, it's IYRE, and man, it's 2024. How do you feel about it all?
I feel like I've done something substantial. I feel gratitude first and foremost, because I'm in a position where I can focus on music full time for the time being, which is a huge advantage that I get to do what I love as a full time career. And at the same time I get to release music with like brilliant labels in the UK and beyond, and in between I get opportunities to play like in good gigs as well. So it's a kind of a privilege, I would say. So I feel that gratitude, and that being said, I know that there's a lot of ground that needs to be covered as well. I'm nowhere close to where I want to be. So that's basically what I'm always thinking about in terms of where I want to be. So I just constantly work towards that goal or the place that I want to be at. But sometimes, I mean, you end up forgetting what kind of a journey you've been through and what kind of things that you've done when you get lost in that process. But yeah, I mean, now I've learned to balance both both aspects. I would say, like, taking time to celebrate like the small wins, and at the same time just to be focused on where I want to be. So it's kind of like a balance as of now. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it is weird though. I mean, I mean, there's more ground to be covered. That's basically what I keep on telling myself, and at the same time I just manage to like do the small things which matters quite a lot at the end. So that's kind of like the process, continuous improvement. Yeah.
Which is great, man. And also, what grounds are you covering this year in terms of gigs?
I have a few London gigs.
Like Central London, or?
Yeah, it's a mix of both, to be honest. Central, South, and then I have to go to Brixton, which is where the UK gig is at. At Document, there's a venue called Document, which is like a huge kind of warehouse. So we have that gig in Bristol, and everything else is basically London-centric. There's one in Central London, which I'm not allowed to speak about it. It's kind of like a surprise pop-up kind of situation. Yeah. And the rest are basically between Central London and South London. Yeah. Because South London is basically where one of the labels that I work with are established, Goldfat. So they're based in South London, Croydon. So yeah, that's basically where I mostly hang out.
Nice. So that's going to be like your spot for this December. And are you doing stuff in January too, or is it just like December only?
It's just till December 27th, but it's quite a lot of time. I mean, from 20th to like 27th, it's like kind of like a huge duration.
It is like 7 days in the coldest part of the world, and you just like going back to back to back with gigs.
It's actually a little bit more than a month. So 20th November and then 27th December.
Oh, 20th November?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a long time. So yeah, I have things that I need to do in between as well. Like the radio residency, I have to like record a few shows with a few people.
Congratulations on your first radio show.
Thank you.
You want to tell people about this brand new radio show?
So there's a radio station called RINS based in the UK and Europe. They are considered like the biggest community-driven radio station in the world as of now. And they have a substation called Cool FM, which is strictly drum and bass. So Cool used to be like a pirate radio station back in the day. They started in the 90s, and then they kept on going for like 30 odd years, and then they were acquired by RINS. And I got the opportunity to host my own show, which was kind of amazing. So yeah, I started my residency this month, and I have one show per month.
Woo!
I get to like bring guests and talk with them and guest mixers and stuff. So yeah, it's good to be a part of that culture, because Cool FM played like a phenomenal role in terms of like bringing drum and bass to where it is right now in London. So yeah, it's a legendary station. So for me to be able to like do my own show on Cool is it's humbling.
Hey, do they have like recaps and things that people can like check out?
Yeah, so if you download the RINS app, you can listen to my show. Just search for IYRE, and then you'll see my page, and you can listen to all the shows. I did one show for last month, and I have another show to be completed for January. So I did the December show. November show, and then I had to do the December show. So that's basically it. Yeah.
Damn, that is so cool. And do you have like any new music coming out during these times? The times you'll be touring?
No, not really. So I have a few releases lined up for next year. Like, I think from March onwards, I'll have like a set of concert releases, and there's like a few EPs that have been finalized for next year. So in terms of release schedule, there's nothing much on the pipeline. But for next year, yes, there is like plenty of things to come.
Hey, excitement in the air. Excitement in the air. Does that also mean your hair by that time will be like a little longer?
I don't know. I have to cut this.
By the way,
before
this
I
is
go.
the first time I'm seeing your hair have some length.
I'm actually planning to keep this and get rid of everything else.
Oh,
Yeah,
go
so-
all like punk.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
You know what? That would look so badass on you.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm supposed to get a haircut soon. Either it'll work or it'll not. So yeah.
So you're also teaching now.
Yeah. So I'm actually teaching. I mean I worked as an instructor, as a lecturer for Pearl Bay Institute. I work part time, but I still work as a part timer, but as a visiting lecturer. But in terms of how frequent my lectures are, it's pretty much each day. So I have about 3-4 lectures per week. So yeah, I get to like work with the new generation of producers, which is nice. Yeah.
And what's that new generation like? Are they a lot more eager, and do they gravitate towards certain genres?
They do in terms of exposure to the genres. Definitely, there's more eagerness towards like electronic-based genres and acoustical genres as well. It's a mix of both, to be honest. And in terms of the eagerness, there definitely is. I mean, there's still ground to be covered in terms of the caliber and the content of education, and perhaps maybe not being confined to Sri Lanka. That's one of the aspects that I want the students to explore a bit more, just to not be a local name but to be an international brand, which is kind of what we as an institute are pushing the students to be as well. There's it's not much of a celebration if you're releasing in the local market, but if you have dreams to push beyond Sri Lanka, that's basically what we are encouraging our students to do as well. It's a good place. So yeah, I've been enjoying the work, and most of what I work with are like diploma, HNC and HND level students. And there's a good lecture panel as well, Rangadi and Denham and Chamita and Yasas, all of these hit makers, and then there's me. So yeah, it's a good panel to be a part of.
For sure, man, for sure. And are you planning on introducing
Mahesh as well.
Mahesh Denapitya?
Maheshwara Madhav. So he's kind of like the guy who's in charge of like the courses and stuff.
Okay. Are you planning on introducing like a bunch of new things next year?
Yeah, we have plans.
I like how you said we and not I.
Definitely have plans. Not. It's just the fact that I can't speak about them. But yeah.
This guy, you give him a secret, he'll keep that secret. He'll be buried with that secret. He'll be resurrected with that secret. He'll die again with that secret.
So I have
He'll
plans,
never
definitely.
tell secrets.
I mean, we have plans collectively to introduce some new things to the market, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I told you before, we want our students to think bigger.
Yeah.
And push themselves to be associated with like the global branding of music, because there's only so much that you can do within Sri Lanka. There's a ceiling, and the ceiling isn't that far either. It's quite reachable. So once you reach that, what are you going to do? Are you going to get comfortable and live that mundane lifestyle, or do you plan on being a bit adventurous? Yeah, if you're going to blow through the ceiling and try something new. So that's basically what we're preaching the students day in and day out. Because we want them to not have regrets.
Yeah, you can't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Because, dude, like, you're paying, and number two, it's life, and number three, it's like, I think we're living in one of the best times anyone could like live in. So yeah, 3 things you've observed about Sri Lanka's music scene that you wish was a little different.
That's a good question. First and foremost, I think there has to be a collective approach towards making it.
Internationally.
Not internationally, it's as human beings. Like, there has to be a camaraderie and friendships that you gather along the way, and then if you are alone and if you try to make it by yourself, there's only so much that you can do by yourself. But if you work as a group or as a collective, and if you collaborate with each other, and if you respect each other's opinions and respect each other as human beings, there's so many things that you can achieve, and I don't see that quite often in Sri Lanka. You've seen things more than I have, so you clearly know what I'm talking about. That's probably the most important aspect that we need to develop. Musicians has to develop, because most of the people are used to work in an isolated environment, and that has to change if you want to make something out of it, and if you want the industry or whatever that we have here to continue and develop, especially to develop, there has to be a collective approach, and people has to collaborate with each other, and have to respect each other and do it as a group. So that has to kind of happen quite soon, I would say. And the second thing would be, in terms of technical perspective, I think our productions, the quality and the caliber of our productions has to improve a lot as well. In comparison to what's out there, I think we are quite far, especially when it comes to like areas like sound design, for example. It's still at a very infant stage. People mostly depend on like presets and samples.
Yeah.
I mean, those are tools that you can use obviously for music making, but in terms of creating like an originality and in terms of creating a niche for yourself,
you need to
and
go out
to create like a very unique sound for yourself, I think sound design is a must for producers and musicians to consider. It's really in its infant stages. Even with my exposure to like people here, I think there's a lot of ground that needs to be covered. So that's number 2, and number 3 would be good structure in place for musicians to make money out of, because right now there's not much of a background in Sri Lanka in terms of protecting intellectual property of musicians. Even though we have certain laws, those are like really old, about 20-30 years.
One eternity old.
So those have to be updated, and there has to be proper copyright laws established in Sri Lanka so that musicians can monetize everything. So right now there's only a very, very limited products that a musician can monetize, and even out of those, most of the platforms which are available are not from Sri Lanka. So like Spotify and
Yeah.
most of these DSPs are not Sri Lankan, right? So there has to be platforms and there has to be laws established by the government itself to support the musicians to make money out of music. So that's another area that I need to change in Sri Lanka, and I don't see that changing anytime soon because people are divided. So yeah, as long as people are divided, which was number one on my list, nothing else will work.
Yeah. So a while ago the government introduced like a artist ID. Do you use that?
No.
You don't have that.
No.
Okay. Do you see a need for that?
No, I don't want to. I don't think there's any value out of it. Yeah, it's basically just an ID. So what are you going to do with that? What are you getting in return for that?
It's just the government saying, "Hi, you are recognized by us." End of story.
Yeah, I mean it's not even a part of recognition, right? I don't know for what they're doing it in the first place.
I mean, that was the whole point. Just so that, like, if you're going out there, like internationally or whatever, you just have like a official little card that says, "Oh, I'm recognized by the government of Sri Lanka." Not needed, though.
No, not needed. No, I don't think. I mean, yeah. It's not that we have a very strong passport, right? So it doesn't make a difference if you have a small card. It doesn't make any difference.
There's that problem too.
Yeah.
3 producers you are absolutely loving from Sri Lanka or have your eyes on.
In terms of musicality, I think Yuki is quite up there in terms of musicality. I like what he does. He understands
Yuki's
the sonics.
smart.
He understands the sonics. Even though I don't understand that genre much, Noise Project and Dimuth.
Dimuth K.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is such a master.
And then there's a few upcomers as well, people who have started like making tunes, quite a few of them.
You want to name drop?
There's this guy called Cyclone. Yeah, he's like an unknown guy who's still working on his craft, and yeah, might actually make some good music in the future, but hopefully, yeah. But yeah, those guys are probably standing out for me in terms of what they're doing. They sound pro, so that's basically what I'm looking at. Like, I know you're making music, but does it sound pro? Yeah, you can make music and you can be a pro at it, and being a pro at it will get you more opportunities and will get you more recognition. So yeah, so those guys are pretty much a few peeps who seem to be doing quite well. Yeah.
So, one final question before I'll release you. You have started mixing with 3 mixers now.
Yeah.
That is wild.
It's not that wild, to be honest.
I'm sorry, I'm still a noob, so I find that like
I know it's going to be wild for so many people in Sri Lanka, but in drum and bass world, it's normal. Yeah.
It's
quite normal. Yeah.
I feel like such a noob.
Yeah, it's quite normal in drum and bass because it's very fast pacing, and then there's a lot happening within 1 hour as well. We play around 50ish to 48ish, around 40ish songs per hour, and it's nice when you can blend tunes together. So you have more freedom, you have more space to navigate in between tunes when you use 3 or more. So the more in the sense 4 is basically where it ends. But yeah, 3 or 4. I can use 4, but I don't want to, because I want to create blends out of my music, and I want the music to be played a little bit. This is why I'm kind of sticking to 3. 3 is kind of like the ideal in terms of what I want to sound like. But there are people who use 4 all the time, like fast blends and switchers and stuff. It's not my style of mixing, so I like to make blends. This is why I have 3. But yeah, it's kind of like a standard. For other genres, I don't know much.
I've seen progressive house, Hernan and a few others use 3 decks. So that's like so impressive.
I think I think why they must be using 3 would be for them to introduce stems, because I've seen that they fiddle around stems quite a lot. But in drum and bass, there's no time to play around with stems. I mean, you can, but
Now
it's
we know.
fast pacing.
Very
That is
cool.
fun though. I mean, it's a challenge to get used to it. But once you get the hang of it, I mean, the first time that I mixed on 3 was at Printwork, so and that gig was recorded, and that gig was like pro recorded by UKF. So
So cool, man. So
I mean,
cool.
ever since that, then it's not difficult. Because once you get used to that phase, you can't live without it. Now I don't necessarily enjoy mixing on 2, unless I want to let the songs play out a little. But if it's like a kind of a high profile gig, I would always play on 3. Yeah.
Cool, man. This has been such a great conversation with you.
Thank you.
And all the best to you and all that you do. And keep flying that flag high.
Thank you so much.
I love the fact that you have this resting bitch face every time I talk.
No, I mean,
But I love it. I love it. I've known him forever. So.
Yeah, I mean, So just like not changing who you are. Or
No, you've not
being-
done that.
yeah,
You've never
being-
done that.
I mean, I've seen people change over time, and I prefer to be myself. There's areas that you can change, obviously, but who you are as a person is not something that you want to change.
It's not a
every now and
t-shirt,
then.
bro. Yeah.
I mean, every now and then, you do this, and then suddenly you're this person. No, that won't necessarily work with me. Which is why, it's always been like this same attitude and same perspective. But hopefully.
Ja. Shout out to Boom Live and Leah for always being cool.
Yeah, she's not in the country.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's somewhere in the Middle East. As of now,
Oh, fancy.
been ever since I saw her. So she's working from there. But
Coolest Jai Weva, man.
thank you.
Boom.
And let me congratulate you on 11, 12 years. Yeah, 12 years on SFM. It's a monumental achievement.
I know.
Especially being in Sri Lanka, I know it can be really tough. But you did it. You did it
Teamwork.
anyway. Yeah.
And you too. Thank you for being so cool throughout
No
these
worries.
years, man.
No worries.
Damn, from 2012 till now. You should give yourself some credit too.
Yeah.
2013. That's when I knew you.
Yeah.
This little angry kid
Yeah.
producing dubstep remixes to look at you now, one of our
Yeah.
island's greatest.
I mean, I don't
It's a
know.
journey.
I don't know if I should call myself.
I am calling you that. You don't call yourself that.
I mean, even then, no. I mean, it's just music, right?
No, it's more than that, Sasa, because I feel like what you've done is just such a way of giving every norm the middle finger and being like, you know what? I'm a dude from Sri Lanka producing drum and bass. I've worked with some pretty cool people, and I've really stood the test of time. I remember a lot of those struggles. I remember a lot of those conversations we've had. I remember a lot of those conversations you've had with other people too.
Yeah.
And just constantly trying, getting rid of, all those sessions, just creating new sessions, just finding that sound, and just listening to a lot of what a lot of good people have to say to you. The really good advice. And really, I think above all, you should give yourself credit for never giving up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite critical of myself, so I don't
God,
necessarily-
you're so tough on yourself.
Yeah.
I have never seen anyone being so harsh.
But I think that me being tough on myself was the factor that actually pushed me to where I am right now. Because I was never satisfied.
Yeah.
And I was always looking for the next break, and then I was constantly working on music. Like even when I was working full time elsewhere, like with a career and like education on top of it. So never gave up music. So I had I have been doing this on the sidelines at least ever since I can imagine. And that burning desire to be a part of like an international community that might actually help me elevate myself even further was always the dream. So I was never satisfied. I mean, I was quite popular in Sri Lanka about like 3 to 4 years back. Like, yeah, I mean, people knew who I was, but even then, I decided to I decided to walk away from everything because that wasn't my end goal. I just wanted to be a part of an international community and
Here you are.
a place where people will actually listen to what I make. So it was difficult, but looking back at it, I think it actually shaped me into a better human being. Because none of it came easy. I knew how hard I had to work, and it humbled me as well quite a lot. Because the pressure is immense and the level of competition in that scene is quite immense as well. There's always new producers who are going to like create brilliant music, so I have to keep on improving myself as well. It's not just that I can create a niche and stick to it and everything will automatically come to me. You know, even with everything that I've done so far, there's so many things that I need to do. So that actually keeps me humbled. I never changed anything because of music. So yeah. Thank you.
So proud of you, man. So proud of
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, I think it's the healthy attitude to have as well. Because I mean, I've seen things. I've seen a lot, and especially in terms of how those guys work over in the UK and other countries. So yeah, if we don't have the correct attitude, it's difficult to navigate ourselves, because it's like such a small market.
Yeah.
And there's only so much each and every one of us can take out of the market. So we need to figure out how to navigate ourselves if we want to think of something else. And I've been inspired by guys like Skrillex, and I've seen what those guys do.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be at least close to that level. That was basically the thinking pattern from the beginning itself. I don't think it'll change either. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll meet Skrillex one day. That'll be kick-ass.
Goals. I hope that happens.
I think I'm meeting Knife Party, so that's good.
It's a start.
Yeah, I'm getting to meet the Pendulum guys. So hopefully I'll be able to take a picture with them. So yeah. So that's not bad. Yeah.
Yay! We'll see that on the gram. More reason for you to follow him, Lanka.
Yeah.
Jai Weaver, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you.